Hello, everybody. You know, I went to the local swimming pool here the other day. Been going quite frequently over the past week or so. You know, as a teenager, even as a young adult, actually, I used to go quite a lot. I used to quite like sort of therapeutic kind of qualities of just not so much the swimming activity, but just, I don't know, there's just something about water for me that has a kind of, I don't know whether I would say healing, but it's kind of got, you know, that might be a bit of a stretch for me personally, but it's, I don't know, I've just always kind of found some kind of solace in water, and whether that's being next to, you know, some kind of a water source, whether that's a river or some kind of a stream of sorts, or even like a drain, really. Partly because of the place that I grew up in, where that you could see those things quite pretty much all over the city, really. And because I lived in a port city, I could quite easily go down to the river and spend time by myself, or as it used to be with someone that I used to call my best friend. Unfortunately, that is no more, and that has been no more for quite some time. But anyway, I was in the swimming pool, and then there was these two girls in there. I don't know if they were. Honestly, don't know if I couldn't tell if they were adults or very late teens. I think they might have been maybe 17, 18. I honestly can't. I don't know for sure. But I think they were adults. I'm pretty sure they were, but it's hard to tell over here sometimes because Thais, they tend to look a lot younger than they really are. So it just doesn't matter anyway. That's not kind of irrelevant really. But yeah, there was these two lasses, and you know, they were having fun and having a blast and everything, and it just kind of got me thinking to when I was younger, and you know what it was like when I was a teenager, and it just kind of made me feel a bit reminiscent, and you know, I kind of was longing for the old days, as it were, and you know, that youthfulness, that freedom, that independence, that irresponsibility that you have when you're, you know, in your late teens or early adulthood. And I think it was just also an awareness of just how much things have changed as well. Things have really changed in my life over the last 10 years, 15, 20 years. And just seeing those two in the pool having fun and having a laugh and joking, and you know, just sometimes it's just, I think we forget what it's like to have fun. We forget what it's like to be young and have our freedom and independence, because we're so caught up chasing money and working and paying bills and, you know, whatever it is, taking care of children, taking care of elderly parents, etc., etc. You know, it's easy to forget what it is to kind of be free in many ways. You know, yeah, it was just an interesting experience. You know, it was like that pool doesn't usually have anybody in it, to be honest. Apart from, to be fair, it's not really. It is part of the housing area here. It's not specifically for anything in particular. It was just kind of there. Really. It's like you can book it out if you want to use it as a fitness, like a like to do training and things like that with kids, with adults, with obviously for things like competitions, or just for teaching people how to swim, or kind of just kind of, and obviously it's just there for leisure, really, just for fun if you want to go in it. And I usually go in it in the afternoon, in the evening, because there's not usually that many people in it, and it's quieter. It's obviously it's not as hot, so you take advantage of being in the going at the right time of the day, because I don't particularly like being surrounded by other people in the same pool, to be honest, or anywhere else for that matter, to be honest. But it's not so much that it's not that I don't despise people so much. It's not like I just automatically see people and I just want to, like, it's that fight or flight thing kicks in or anything like that. It's just that I just kind of prefer to be by myself, really, for the most part. I don't hate people. I just find people to be a little bit difficult to handle at times, and I think people find that. I think that, and as well, it's also a kind of. I'm also very aware of the fact that I can be quite talkative with people, and I don't mean to be. It's just that, I just don't. I've just always have this feeling that I've always got to fill in the sounds, kind of thing. Like, I don't really like things getting like awkward or anything, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like sometimes I just think I'm just better off just not saying anything. If there's people, wherever it is, whatever situation you're in, maybe it's just you and somebody else there, or a small number of people. Sometimes you just kind of feel it. To break the awkward sounds, to say something, to some mindless small talk, to kind of break the awkwardness of the, that you could cut the awkwardness with a knife, kind of thing. But as I was in that pool, I was obviously swimming up and down, and it made me kind of realise that I don't really talk a great deal about women, really, or late teenagers or anything like that. Partly because I don't particularly. It's not really something that I think there's enough being said about that kind of stuff on YouTube, with especially with the whole black pill movement. And I've certainly touched upon it on my channel. I've talked about the difficulties of relationships and things like that before, but it kind of just got me thinking about these two lasses were kind of there, one of them was kind of looking over at me quite a lot, and I was just kind of like trying to ignore it and just go about my day, kind of thing, and it kind of got me thinking, really. I was just like, it's when I was in my very late teens, early adulthood, I was very obsessed with getting attention and that sort of ego going into overdrive, kind of thing, and I could tell that one of these lasses was obviously kind of, I don't know if she was flirting or not, but she was just kind of, I could see her looking over at me from time to time, and it was just kind of a bit weird, and it's one of those things where you don't really know what to do, you don't really know where to look. It's like, I thought, honestly, because usually there's nobody in there at that time, so it was kind of a bit, you don't know until you turn up and you've gone through the door and you've paid your money, you've got your ticket and everything. I'm just like, oh, fuck's sake, there's people in the pool. And it was just one of those things. It's just like, what do you do in those kind of situations? Like, you try, you look. It's weird because you're like, you know, you're just trying to go about your day, but it's like, you know, you sort of just from time to time might give them a glance, you know, you might, you know, smile at them, or maybe sort of just say something every now and again, you know, to, I don't know, it's just such a weird situation to find yourself in, you know. It's like, you don't want to come across as weird or anything, but you don't want to come across as like cold as well, you know, like as if nobody else exists in the world kind of thing. It's like, I don't know, it's a weird kind of one of those dilemma type things, you know. Anyway, but it's just not that it's not that was important or anything. But I just wanted to mention that. And, you know, I sort of smiled at what the other one, you know, just kind of just sort of acknowledging that they're there kind of thing, and I'm not going to bother them. So I'm just here to swim, not here to do anything. I'm happy, you know, I'm happily married and all that kind of shit. I'm not interested, thank you very much. You know, I mean, look, I don't know what the situation was, but it was, yeah, the one of them was certainly giving me the eye. You know, certainly looking at me quite a lot. You know, I could see it out the corner of my eye, kind of thing, and obviously caught looking at me a few times, and you know, I mean, I have no interest in getting involved with. And honestly, at this point, I'm nearly 35 years old. I've mentioned it more than enough times. You know, I wouldn't date, or I wouldn't even bother with anyone that was younger than, at this point, probably anyone. I wouldn't really get into. I mean, look, I'm married. You know, I'm in a long-term, serious relationship with someone, and I have been for almost 10 years now. And I don't plan on kind of breaking it up anytime soon. You know, I'm trying my best to be as best a husband I can. You know, obviously no one's perfect, but you know, of course, you know, we all think about these kind of things. Let's not kid ourselves. You know, we all, from time to time, ponder on what it would be like to be with somebody else. You know, whether that's somebody older than us or someone younger than us. You know, there's nothing wrong in just being honest and giving yourself permission to be open enough and honest enough to say, you know, yeah, I did think about this. Of course, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not interested in pursuing anything. But you know, we live in a society where opening up and being open and transparent about the things that you think about is deemed as immoral, and it's like, well, why? You know, you're talking about a lass that I'm guessing she was probably about 17, 18, I reckon. If I had to put money on that, I'd say she was probably about 17, 18, let's say. You know, and admittedly, I'm not going to bullshit. She was attractive. You know, there's nothing wrong in admitting that. But you know, if you know, I wouldn't dream of, you know, even if I was single, I wouldn't even dream of going up to them, you know, giving them my number or anything like that. It's just one of those like silly little stupid things that goes through your mind, you know. It's just every now and again, you know, these. I wouldn't say it was a fantasy, but it was just like a kind of. It was just one of those like what if type things, you know. We all have them from time to time, you know. Like, I wonder what would, you know. I wonder how things would play out with it if I was in a different, if the situation of my life was different. If I was 10 to 15 years younger, you know, how would this particular situation pan out, you know, differently to how it has. You know, if I was older, how would this situation have been different, etc. You know, we all have those like what ifs, and you know, we all ponder on, you know, ridiculous things that would never pan out, would never work out, and are just utterly ridiculous. But it's important to acknowledge that you have those kind of thoughts. You know, there's nothing wrong in having them. It's when you, because you know, most people do have those types of thought. Most people do have some kind of fantasy of some sort. You know, whatever that is. And that's not just related to women. That, you know, that can be related to, you know, whatever it might be. Yeah? Being rich, you know, owning a, I don't know, owning a plane, you know, owning a multi-million-dollar empire, or I don't, what, you know, being the prime minister or something, you know, being a king or queen or whatever. You know, just it's just, I think it's just a part of human nature to. it's just a part of our creative mind, isn't it? It's one of those things that fills in the gaps, kind of thing. Fills in the moments of kind of awkwardness and being bored and kind of. I think sometimes it's just a byproduct of a monotonous, repetitive cycle of your life, really, and so your brain kind of starts looking for ways to kind of deal with it, and so you come up with these ridiculous scenarios in your head, which would obviously you'd never do, but we all think of these kind of things from time to time. And it's not. This is not really about that, but it's just. I just wanted to mention it because, I think too often we're so scared in today's world of really saying what we've actually thought, because we're so full of anxiety about being judged and labelled as this or that. And whereas if people just gave you the chance to let you speak and let you finish your point properly, then people would understand what you actually meant and not jump into conclusions and jumping down the throat with accusations left, right and centre. That's the problem. People don't give you the time of day to explain yourself properly, to let you articulate what it is exactly what your point is, what you're trying to express. People just hear this and that, think, oh, you're this, you're that. It's like, no, I'm not. But you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not giving me the time, the chance to fully open up, let me go through the whole thing properly first, and then you can tell me what you think. But people got to give you the chance. They've got to give you the ability to let you be completely honest, but also let you give you the time to criticize and analyze your own thoughts and emotions and feelings. Because what you think isn't what you do necessarily. That's the thing. Is like you can think all sorts of things. Like we all have intrusive thoughts, but in 99.999% of the time, most people don't act on them. And it's the same kind of thing. We all have those kind of, oh, don't do this, or this will happen. Do this, don't do that. That you could easily do this right now. You could easily do that right now. That kind of thinking. It's like we all have that. We all have intrusive thoughts, whether they're, kind of self-preservation based stuff, or whether it's fantasy world kind of stuff. Everybody has it. Everybody I don't know everybody, but the vast majority of people, I would imagine, have those kind of moments where they're kind of questioning who they are, questioning their own morality kind of thing, their own ethical stance on things. But that wasn't like the main thing that bothered me about being in the pool. I think just as a guy, like just being alone. I mean, obviously I didn't know they were going to be there. I mean, I had seen them before, like probably, I don't know, 3-4 months ago or something. I honestly can't remember now. But I honestly have forgotten all about, because I'd only seen them once before, and I wasn't going there for any other reason, just to simply go for a swim, because I was trying to lose some weight, not very successfully, admittedly. And I find that swimming, personally for me at least, is just talking about this thing just feels kind of icky and weird. It's like I don't know why. It's like I'm not talking about anything particularly taboo here or anything. It's just one of those. Just as a guy, we live in a society where like you're told as a guy that if you think of anything, if you think a woman is 10, 15 years, 20 years younger than you that's attractive, you think she's attractive and you say it, you're a weirdo, you're a creep, you're this, you're that. It's like, why? You're allowed to have a thought. You're allowed to think about things. There's a difference between having a passing thought and then actually acting on something and doing something, you know, even if it is legal, or you know, it's like it doesn't. It's not just about things being illegal. Obviously, you shouldn't do anything illegal. You know, I'm the first person to say it, but when it's something that's legal, you know, it's like it's just everyone's got their own subjective ideas and thoughts about what constitutes, you know, your moral compass, you know, your ideas on ethics and things like that, your stance on things. But it was just being in that pool, just as a guy, you know, as a married guy, it was just kind of like, just made me feel a bit, oh, you know, maybe I should get out of the pool kind of thing. This is just a bit weird, this. I don't know how I feel about it. And I was just kind of like challenging myself, like questioning myself. I was just like, why? Why do I have to why should I get out of the pool? I haven't done it. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not gawping at these lasses or anything. I was just like, you know, they were like swimming like lengthways and then, you know, widthways and from time to time, and I was just like, I was like trying to keep out the way, basically. You know, they were kind of like coming, you know, towards my side of the pool from time to time, and they were moving across. So it was just like I was trying to give them like space and whatever, you know. I didn't really say anything to them. There was a woman, the owner there. I spoke to her for a brief period, you know, just boring small talk, whatever, just to kind of. I just wanted to, really. But apart from that, I didn't say anything, and I barely even looked at these lasses. Like, you know, I gave them a glance every now and again, just to kind of acknowledge that they were there, kind of thing, because obviously they were coming across the pool, and you know, just, you know, they were having a laugh, and it was some of the stuff they were doing was kind of funny from time to time. But anyways, yeah, I don't really want to keep talking about this because it just makes me feel weird talking about it, even though it's like there's not really particularly anything weird about it. But it's just one of those things. It's just one of those like conditioning type things of how society and just kind of, especially women as well, feminists and all this crap have sort of drilled it into society that, oh, you know, if you look at a man of a certain age looks at a young woman of a certain age, and it's like, oh, well, that's creep. It's like, well, but it's okay when it's the other way around. It's okay for it'd be okay for some 35-year-old woman to look at some 21-year-old stud or something. I was like, well, how it's just all this double standard bullshit, and I don't buy into it. And I just like, for the first like 15, 20 minutes of being in the pool, I was just like, I don't know, maybe I should just get out of the pool, just leave them to it. I just don't want to come across as weird or anything. Even though I wasn't doing anything, I was just swimming, literally swimming up and down. But honestly, there was a few times I was just like, I better get out of the pool. I'll come tomorrow, I'll come at a different time, kind of thing. I don't know why, I just felt so strange to me. Like, I never really, you know, I suppose really it's like kind of like, it's not the first time it's ever happened in my life, but I think as I'm getting into my, you know, as I'm approaching 40, like, I'm kind of more, I guess I'm becoming more self-conscious and kind of becoming, you know, more concerned about how kind of people perceive me, kind of thing. It's just like, I don't want to come across as being weird or like creepy in any way, or obviously I have no intentions of acting like that at all. But it just like, I don't know, it's just like, it's not even so much it's me, it's like, it's my paranoia, it's my suspiciousness, I guess, of people, that it's just like, oh, maybe they're thinking this about me, they're thinking that about me. It's just like, they're probably not thinking anything. But I don't know, I just think as you start getting a bit older, you start worrying about that kind of shit, you know. And if, you know, you don't really need to, as long as you're not doing anything wrong. It's like, which I wasn't. Because if I was, you know, obviously the owner there, she would have said something, and the security the security guy would have said something as well. Nobody did, because I didn't do anything. I wasn't doing anything. I was just literally just swimming there up and down, you know, and I was there probably about a good half an hour after they'd left. You know, I didn't go because they were going to be there, or like I said before, I've completely forgotten about them, honestly, because I'd only ever seen them once. But anyway, I don't want to bang on about this thing. It's not like it's really that important, but so anyway, there was that side of it. I think I've banged on about that enough, but it was just so weird. But I suppose really it's just kind of like it was one of those like kind of realizations that kind of just like dawned on me, and I was just like, maybe I'm just kind of getting too old, like maybe I shouldn't be seen in even though it's open to the public, anybody can, well, not public, when I say public, it's open to anybody who lives in this area, as long as you pay your fee and you have your ticket and have your coupon and all that, you can go in. And I usually go in with my wife, but she was busy that day. And I honestly thought she was going to join me, because that's kind of why I went at the time I went, because I thought, if I go in now, maybe, if I spend an hour in here, then she'll probably arrive, say at 7 p.m. or whatever, and then we'll have about an hour or so before it closes. That was my thinking, but it didn't turn out that way. She was busy, and anyway, the rest is kind of history. It's not that important, but just kind of being there. A few days earlier, there wasn't that many people on the pool that time either, and it was just kind of I don't know about other people, that just kind of, as I was swimming up and down, obviously kind of was getting tired after a while, because it's not, it's sort of medium-sized pool. It's not that deep from an adult's perspective, anyway. And I'd go across a few times, and I'd maybe like spend a minute or two sort of gazing up, because you can see that it's like an open area where you can see the trees and the sky and whatever. And I was just kind of like just sitting there, sort of kind of catching my breath from time to time, and sort of looking at the trees and the birds and things. I'm just kind of thinking about my life, and just kind of and just kind of like thinking about how things had gone wrong, and how I'd really kind of fucked up and messed up in my life, and how many bad decisions had led me to that point. But yeah, obviously I was in this swimming pool kind of enjoying it, but at the same time sort of having a kind of mini existential crisis, kind of. And going back to that night with those young women in the pool, which I'm pretty sure they were. They can't have been any younger than 17, I'm guessing. They must have been 17, 18. Maybe it's hard to tell, though. They might have even been a little bit older than that, to be honest. But it doesn't matter anyway. It really doesn't matter. But when they were there, I just kind of dawned on me, just like how much things have changed, and like, how the fuck am I nearly 35 years old? It's like, how did I go from that mentality of those? It wasn't the rage that bothered me. It was, when I say that, what I mean is, it's like, it wasn't so much it was that. It was just like, I didn't want to be like interpreted in the wrong way or anything. I didn't want to be seen as something that I'm not. Like I didn't want to be. I was just being too paranoid and kind of overanalyzing the situation. So I don't know. Wouldn't be the first time, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, just kind of watching them there, and sort of, it was because obviously it's not that big of a pool, so there's only so many places you can look, and you can kind of see them out the corner of your eye anyway, wherever you are. And I was, they were having fun, and just having a laugh, and I was just kind of like, how did I end up in a in a mental space where I went from that kind of, that energy, that fun, that living in the moment, not giving a crap kind of thing, and enjoying just being alive, and to the mentality, the mind that I have now, really. And it's such a long journey, from one's very late teens, early adulthood, to if any guy tells you that they don't at least find a lass of 17, 18 years old attractive, they're full of shit as far as I'm concerned. They're absolutely full of shit. I just want to say that, get that out of the way, because it's a fact, right? Well, that doesn't mean you want to date someone. Doesn't mean you want to have a relationship. Doesn't even mean that you want to have sex with someone. You can find somebody. You can say that someone looks attractive. Someone has great physical attributes. Someone looks physically appealing, but that doesn't mean, that's not the same thing as wanting to engage in sexual activity or to have a relationship with that person or anything. Those are very different things, and we have to be honest about that. But of course, yes. But you also have to admit that there are times where those two things do align. But it's not always the case, and I just want to make that point, because it's, at least from my point of view, it's the truth. You can find someone, you can say, well, she's an attractive female. That guy is quite a handsome young man. But there's nothing wrong in saying that. There's nothing wrong admitting that. It's not a crime to tell the truth, to be honest. As far as I'm concerned, anyway. As long as you're not doing anything that's actually illegal, which is a whole different thing altogether. And I don't need to go into that, because you know exactly what I mean. And people that engage in that kind of shit should go to jail for a very long time. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about legal stuff, But those kind of grey areas, those kind of like those areas where we're told, if you do this, you're a creep, you're weird, you're this. It's like, well, who gets to dictate the rules when it comes to these grey areas? These nobody really has an answer for. It's like, well, who gets the final say on it? But anyway, this is kind of morphed into something it wasn't meant to. A bit like my life, in many respects. But it's just so. You just realise, I think, when you see the younger generation, even they might only be 10, 15 years younger than you, you realise just how much things have changed, like how, and just the fact that it's just that realisation that you're not that person anymore. You're not that carefree, living in the moment person that you used to be, and I did used to be that person. When I was in my very early 20s, in my mid to late teens, I used to be that person where I didn't really think that much really about the future, and I didn't really kind of, I was just kind of living without caution, without, just being naive and ignorant about myself and life in general, people, especially people. And I didn't really truly fully understand, just how difficult it would be to navigate life, how difficult it would be to... I didn't realise the extent of the journey that was ahead of me when I was young. You know, I didn't realise how much things were going to change, and I certainly didn't realise how much I was going to change, probably more than anything else, I suppose. You know, when I saw those lasses in the pool, I was just like, you know, that used to be me. I used to be like that. You know, I used to have fun and you know, you could just have a laugh and just somewhere along the way it just disappeared. And I suppose that's really kind of what got to me was, you know, watching them just kind of just not a care in the world, you know, just purely enjoying that time, you know, just like, it's like, how the hell did I get from that to here, you know, like, where did it start? And it was just kind of got me thinking, like, how the fuck did how did I end up being such a serious, you know, and sometimes quite honestly, a bit of a miserable cunt, compared to what I used to be, whereas I was kind of more down to do things at one time and kind of throw caution to the wind type of attitude and didn't really care and just somewhere along the way, you know, just kind of the air got took out of me, the kind of life got took out of me, the energy, the optimism, the hope, the you know, the joy of thinking about now and or at the very latest tomorrow or next week or next month or whatever. Not like these days where you know you're pondering on where you're going to be next year, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years down the line, you know, and constantly worrying about, you know, employment and money, you know, the stability or instability of your relationship, you know, all the things that make it difficult to be an adult in today's world. As a man anyway, I can't speak for women. You know, I'm not a woman. I don't know what it's like to be a woman in today's world. In many ways, coming from where I've come from and all that kind of stuff in mind. But you know, it just made me think that I've just lost so much, you know, along the way. I really have. I've lost that spark. I've lost that. I just feel like I've lost the light somewhere. I put it down for a moment and I forgot where I put it, and I just walked away and I never found it. That's how I feel about it. Just kind of, you know, I'm just kind of thinking, you know, what the hell am I going to do with my life? You know, what am I going to do with it? I'm almost 35 years old, you know, 5 years away from the big 40, and I'm just like, you know, you just start to question your sanity. You start to question your, you know, you know, it's like you just start doubting yourself. You start to, and it's just a slippery slope, you know. And it's just kind of, before you know it, you're getting depressed about yourself, and you're just thinking, I'm a fucking loser. I'm useless. I can't do shit. I've done nothing. I've achieved fuck all of my life. Which is not true. You know, it's like, yes, I might not have done as much as I would have liked to have done. I'll be honest. You know, I won't bullshit and say I'm happy about where I am, but yeah, I'm not completely dissatisfied with what I've done in my life, I suppose. You know, it's not, you know, I suppose I've tried to kind of make the best of it in some ways. Could I have done more along the way? And yes, but I didn't, you know, and I suppose it's like that thing as well of like, well, you know, is there any point just pondering on it? You know, that constant state of buts and what ifs all the time. It's like, it just drives you into the ground. It doesn't do you any good. But you can't help it sometimes, you know, when you see these youngsters and, you know, with all the friends, and so even today, you know, I was with my wife's family, and they've got a boy, and a young lad, and you know, we went to this like this sort of like indoor kind of sort of like a kind of ball park kind of thing. I don't know what you call it. It's like a sort of indoor entertainment centre, whatever. I don't know what you class it as, but that's the best way I can describe it. You know, slides and like ball pools and all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, it just kind of got me thinking about that swimming pool situation the other day of, you know, just watching all these people out, just purely just enjoying that just completely invigorated, you know, just you know, their whole focus, their whole mind is on that specific thing right there, right then, you know. And honestly, I don't get that kind of like feeling anymore, like really for the most part. I only really get it. Yeah, it's weird because it's like, for me, I think I need to feel like I'm achieving something, and then when I have a break from it, if I've done what I set out to do, then for me I kind of get it. But I mean, apart, it's like I don't just get it anymore just for the sake of it. You know, it's like, you know, I think when we're younger, you know, that sense of excitement and joy of just the activity alone is not quite there. You know, I think as we get older, we need other kind of, we kind of feel that we have to justify it to ourselves. You know, we have to have certain eligibility with ourselves to kind of allow ourselves to enjoy a situation, a moment in time, because, and I think just as well, as we get older, you know, obviously with more and more responsibilities and more things to worry about, it gets harder to just enjoy being in the present time. You know, it's like, because we're so preoccupied all the time with worrying about shit, all the time. You know, it's all just, if we're not worrying, we're thinking about something. You know, thinking about something from you know, some situation from the past that, you know, we haven't quite got over, or some awkward situation, some dumb shit we said or did at some time or other. You know, feeling like we're not good enough for whatever reasons in the past or in the present. You know, feeling that we're not good enough in our jobs or in our marriages or relationships, or maybe it's we don't feel like we're good enough parents or whatever it might be. We're constantly worrying about, oh, you know, we've got this bill coming up soon, we've got that to pay for, this to pay for, you know, how we're going to get the money, and just all the other kind of, just the you know, the stuff that kind of just breaks your soul down over time, just the monotonousness of doing this, you know, just dealing with daily life and the chores of it all, and just very, even just the most simple, basic stuff, you know, it can just start getting to you after a while. And I think that's how I kind of felt, I think, sitting in that pool. It's just like, that's how I felt. I just felt that life was starting to get on top of me, you know, that life was starting to kind of crush my spirit. It was starting to almost kind of become a burden, really, being honest. I just wasn't enjoying being alive anymore. I just wasn't enjoying, I just don't enjoy being me anymore. Like, I think that's what it is. Like, I don't enjoy being the version of myself that I am and that I've become for so many different reasons. Some of it's partly just a kind of natural growth, maturity, and, you know, growing in wisdom and knowledge. But some of it's just kind of, I guess, part of the way that I've dealt with the blows that have happened over the years, you know, to my mental health, just sort of the erosion of trust in people, you know, the endless disillusionment with things, you know, the endless disappointments in people, trying to be hopeful and positive about people, but they just inevitably let you down, because we're all judging all the time. We all have expectations upon various situations, and we all want certain outcomes from various different times in our life and from different people. And just being in that pool, I was just like, that I need to get back to that. I need to somehow rekindle that joy again, that I don't know what you want to call it, that light, the flame, the passion, the energy, the drive to kind of want to live again, to be happy, I don't even know what that even means anymore. And I've said it on my channel before. Like I don't know what it means to be happy anymore. I haven't felt happy in years, truly happy. I don't think I've really. I don't even know if I've even really ever had it, quite frankly. But what I do know, and from that swimming pool situation, is that attention. Drawn attention to, and I think this is kind of what bothered me about the Innocence. Like, there's this thing of sometimes we want attention, but we don't want to. We don't want to come across as being toxic or anything. We don't want to come across as being, we don't want to be judged, do we? That's the reality of it. We just don't want to be judged. We don't want to have someone stereotype us or label us as something that's deemed to be, dirty or disgusting or immoral or whatever, even though you're not. But just that paranoia that we're living in these days, where everybody's overly sensitive and overly offended by everything, and just jumps to conclusions automatically without you ever letting you speak your mind and open up about things. But that's what people are like. And that's kind of partly, I suppose, in the end why I kind of got rid of my old friends, because it was all. This is not about friendships. I've talked about that on my channel before, but the part of the reason why I dropped so many so-called friends is because I saw through their bullshit. Some of them had an agenda that they never ever told me about, and I knew what some of them had been up to. And some of them were being manipulative, deceiving, and I was just kind of there to, they had a role for me in their friendship. For me, I always tried to tried to just naturally have friendships with people, but I think because of my personality type, and I'm quite a timid person in many ways, quite emotional sometimes. I don't mean to be, it's just kind of just how I am naturally. I think that people saw that as an opportunity to try and exploit, really, and to kind of use me as a kind of like a cushion, almost, a way at getting at people somehow, or just a kind of way of protecting themselves in some way, or kind of. Yeah, like even like one of my closest friends, I don't trust anymore. I honestly don't even believe we ever truly had a real friendship, and that also goes to another guy. The guy I was just talking about, his name was David as well. The other guy actually was, I think, he kind of was on he had a bit of a vendetta. I think he had a bit of an agenda going on to try and kind of rub my nose in it by kind of taking my best friend away, kind of thing. But anyway, that's probably going to be. I'm probably going to make a video about that in the coming days. But yeah, I just think that and it was just nice to see friends enjoying themselves. It's just nice to see them just. To me, it didn't seem like there was any head fuckery going on between them, and it was just nice to see that, just two people enjoying themselves as friends, nothing else, and that's it. It was just that. It was just nice to. It was just nice to see that there's still people out there appreciating life, you know. 'Cause I don't know what it is to appreciate life anymore. I don't know what it is to. I don't know what fun is anymore. I think I've just got into the state of just being so hypercritical and hyper analytical of everything and everybody that I just don't know. I don't know what it is to just be in the moment anymore. I can't do it. I don't think. I don't know if I've got it in me anymore. And so just watching these young women. It just reminded me of when I was young, and I used to spend time with my old, what used to be friends, although I'm kind of getting to a point where I don't really want to say that word anymore, to be honest, because I don't think that's really what they were. They were just users. They were just people that saw me as a tool, as a way of protecting themselves in various ways. But I'll talk about that in a coming video, because it's something that Lyrical Leisure, another YouTuber, touched on, and I think it's right, really, and it's something I had kind of known that anyway. I knew there was stuff going on when I was like 17, 18. There was just kind of some shady shit going on between someone that I called my best friend at one time, and he just kind of he chose somebody else over me, and this other guy was supposed to be my friend as well. But it makes sense now why he was so pally with me. And but anyway, I don't want to go on about that, because that's not what this video is about. But I will be talking about that in the coming days, because there's a lot I want to get off my chest. Just in case I ever stumble upon it. Which will probably never happen, but if they do, well, I'll be getting the complete rundown of exactly what I feel and think about them. No holds barred. So it's just going back to this situation today. Watching all these. I was there with my wife. I was there with this kid's auntie, and obviously he was playing around in the pool and whatever, and we were just sat there waiting for him to. I think they had something like an hour or something in the play area, so we was just waiting there. I don't mind, I don't mind. It was fun watching him having a laugh and enjoying himself, and that's good. It was that kind of that same thing again. It was just kind of like a parallel kind of experience in a way, in a different kind of way, sort of like the pool situation. Except for this time, it was a ball pool, which I wasn't in, obviously. Otherwise, that would have been definitely a weird situation. But again, it kind of got me thinking. It's just weird, isn't it, how we decide that after a certain age, it's like, well, you can't do that anymore. You're not allowed to do it. I mean, it's not so much that it's there's no law. It's just that. It's just, I don't know. It's just this pressure, and there's this conformity pressure in society. These unspoken sort of pseudo rules, that once you're over a certain age, you're not allowed to have any fun anymore. And so you must do these things. You're not allowed to do anything that would be, deemed to be childish or immature. It's like, oh no, I'm not allowed to have any kind of fun like that anymore. And it's just, I just thought it was really, it's just odd, isn't it? How it's weird, because it's like, on the one hand, if we see things that we deem to be kind of a little bit cringe or whatever, it's like we hold firm on those kind of views, but yet also we also have views where we're like, so we have views where we're like, I wouldn't mind enjoying a slide, or enjoying a water park, or going on the odd roller coaster every now and again, or but it's like if you did that stuff, you'd be people would be like hailing shit at you and just like what the fuck are you doing? Get off it, you overgrown kid. But I don't know. It's just weird, isn't it? It's weird how society deems things to be acceptable or not. It's like I was just it's kind of a bit of an odd situation, really. Watching all these kids enjoying themselves and not caring the world, not a thought about today, tomorrow, next week, probably next year, just purely just completely zoned out, and I just don't know what happened to me. I don't know where the rot set in somewhere along the line, but it did. And I think, I'm guessing it probably started with the end of my friendship, my so-called friendships. And that's kind of partly why I brought it up, I suppose, because I think that's partly where it stems. The deterioration of my friendships over the years, the deterioration of my last relationship, and just kind of bitter resentment and disillusionment and disappointment with people, humanity in general, really. And it is a generalisation, I know it is, and it's not fair to assume that everyone's this or that or the other. But I just think there comes a point where you have enough of a certain number of experiences that all kind of line up in some way or other, and you just kind of start forming opinions about things, whether you're right, whether it's fair and rational to assume that everyone's like this or not is a different thing. But we all kind of have our generalisations about things, which is not always accurate, if ever, really. But it doesn't mean that it's not so much that we think that everyone's like that, but you can say that a certain number of people might be like that, and you might say that it's probably more in the majority than it is the minority. And humans are so incredibly they're very thin-skinned, I think. They're very, they're so susceptible, they're so vulnerable, they're so they're so easily persuaded and damaged by things, and I'm no exception to it. And I think it's partly sort of society in a way that kind of does it to you. It's just this constant pressure all the time that you've got to act like this, you've got to say this, you've got to do this, you've got to give out these kind of social cues, you've got to give off this body language. You have to have this, maintain this kind of attitude. You have to convince people that you have these kind of beliefs, and because of this, you don't want to be interpreted as this, you don't want to be seen as that, you don't want to be misjudged or mischaracterized, and it's just an exhausting way to live all the time. It's just we live in a constant state of exhaustion because we feel that we have to live up to this mold all the time. We have to. Well, no, we can't be honest about things. No, don't express your real true emotions in this situation. You don't want to be judged, do you? You don't want people to have these kind of poor opinions of you, or don't reveal yourself too much. Don't let people see too much of you. It's just exhausting. It's exhausting being an adult. And I'm not talking about like just the endless crap of just the shit of just daily living that just gets on your fucking nerves after a while. Excuse my language, but that in and of itself is really fucking tiring and really fucking tedious. But then when you throw on top of that all the complexities and the fact that you must use your intuition, you must always be on your feet and try and suss things out as quickly as you possibly can and know how to act or not act in certain situations or around certain people in any given moment. It's just it's fucking it's hot. It's just so it's just like I said. It's just fucking exhausting. You know, and people wonder why you're serious and you're tired all the time. You're going through shit. And it's like, well, it's because of this, all this crap that we've created for ourselves, that now I have to form in, that I have to, you know, stand in line and be a part of. I don't want to be a part of, but I know if I don't do this, then I'll be excluded from this and this. I'll be deemed to be, rebellious or non-conformist or a shit stirrer, a troublemaker, you're trying to rock the boat. You're trying to, you shouldn't be sticking your head above the parapet, kind of thing. You shouldn't stand up and shouldn't stand up for yourself. You shouldn't say what's on your mind. Don't express your real, true emotions in front of people. Don't let people see the real you in these types of situations. It's just like, what the fuck are we doing? What is this world we've created? What are we doing in this society? What have we created here? Yeah, and then people wonder why that people snap and why people turn on other people, why people, drown their sorrows in a bottle of fucking vodka or overdose on whatever and turn to drug addictions and, pornography and, why people, end up in a fucking, in a prolonged period of a breakdown, essentially. It's because it's this thing of, we always feel we're having to play the game all the time. We feel that we have to abide by the social contract. We have to abide by the social norms. We mustn't even think about the taboos of society, let alone say anything about them. Confront them head on. So we live in such a we live in a toxic world now. I really believe it. We live in such a dysfunctional. We have for decades. Once we got to a point where we went. And this stems back, probably a few 100,000 years, really, if not a million years. It's all in our DNA. It's all in our evolution. It's all there. It's all part of. Nobody ever questions it. Nobody ever challenges it, really. It's like, when I say not enough people do, let's say. And that's why things are the way they are, because there's too many conformists in this world. There's too many people just being blandly loyal to the rules and to the law and to the things that the people with authority demand and expect of everybody, or that we're supposed to just, blandly follow along with the unspoken rules and everything without ever having any, counter arguments or criticisms or analysis of it. And when you are like that, then you end up being sidelined. You end up like, once you do, you ever in any situation ask too many questions, get too close to the truth, and that's it. You're fucked. That's partly why my life is the way it is, because I've been like that for a very long time. I just try to get to the bottom of things. I'm too honest. I'm too open. I'm too raw and real. And And that comes at a massive cost to you. I honestly, at this point, and I'm not one for being paranoid in terms of like, you know, against like some conspiracy or anything like that against me or anything. But at this point, it's when it comes to like employment, and I don't, I'm not certainly not like my ex, thankfully. But maybe she had a point when she used to talk about blacklisting. Maybe there really is a thing. And I sometimes wonder whether I've been blacklisted, because I don't know whether it's just that this video's not. I'm going all over the place with this video, and I wasn't meant to. But it's just kind of a bit of a bad habit I need to sort out. But I think as I'm getting older, I'm realising that a lot of time's passed, and I've missed a lot. I feel like I've missed a lot of opportunities, and I just feel alone, really, 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 really alone these days. That people don't get me, people don't understand me fully. And in a way, I'm glad that those so-called friends that used to be, that I would have done anything for at one time, have fucked off out of my life and probably have them forever, because they never got me. They didn't really know who I was. And as much as I miss them, and we used to go swimming together, and we used to go and spend time together as very young adults. In a way, I'm kind of glad that things have changed in that way. But when I was in that pool the other day, it made me realise that that part of my life's gone. It's disappeared. I'm never gonna be that age again. I'm never gonna have that kind of sort of emptiness in the mind type feel of what it is to be younger, with less things going around your head all the time. There's more airiness, there's more space to breathe, there's more freedom in yourself. You're not bogged down yet. You're not carrying so much baggage and trauma and all the things I've talked about in this video. You're not carrying all that yet. You can't just switch it off. That's like you try to. You might maybe temporarily you can, but it's like just being at that ballpark today. It's just like what it is to be young. What it is to be just a kid. I never truly appreciated it. I don't think. I never really. Nobody thinks the child is going to win. Nobody thinks that their youth is going to disappear in a blink of an eye. If someone told me that when I was 10, 11 years old, I wouldn't have believed them. I would say, nah, it's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to become an adult. I'm not going to be 35 years old one day. Because you just can't imagine it. It's just beyond comprehension at that point. Even really when you're like 20, 21, you never really truly think you're going to get old, You don't think, and I'm not saying that 35 is old, but compared to, someone that's 20 it's a whole different life. It's a whole different feel to life. It's not just the fact that you're older and your body's starting to fail. It's the fact that your mind is as well. You don't feel the same anymore. You don't think the same anymore, which is in a way is to be expected, and it's probably a good thing. And if you didn't change, there'd be something bloody wrong with you, So in a way, it's like, yes, it's natural, and it's just a part of existence and the natural way of things. But you lose things along the way. You lose parts of yourself, and that's what it is. It's that loss. It's that acknowledgement that I can't ever go back to that. I can't ever go back. I can't reach out to that person ever again. I can't go back and be a kid again. I can't go and spend an hour in that ballpark as a 5-year-old ever again. I can't be in that pool again as a 15-year-old with my mates. Enjoying the waves, the wave machine, catching some food after and spending what little money we had and, you know, just doing whatever the fuck we wanted because we didn't realise what lay ahead, you know. That's gone, man. It's all gone. And it's just something that it just eats away at you slowly, day after day after day, and it's really hard to live with. It's really hard to live with the fact that you're stuck, and you can't get back to your younger self, that version of yourself that you enjoy being more. You know, yes, you can, you know, join clubs and things, but you're never gonna be that. You're never gonna be that youthful, better looking, you know, faster, you know, maybe sharper kind of witty, you know, sarcastic self you once used to be, you know. You're never gonna have that same ego, arrogance that you had when you were younger, which is in some ways a good thing, but you know, it also has disadvantages as well, you know. It just feels that life just feels kind of sluggish these days. You know, it just feels like I'm not really. You know, it's just like, I don't know. I just feel it's just kind of just like a wear and tear kind of thing. It's just like I feel like life's kind of drained me of my sanity. Life's just kind of drained me of my whatever joy used to be there, whatever bit of light that I used to have about being myself and looking ahead into the future. It's gone, you know. I'm not saying that you should live in the past, but you have to accept it. You have to acknowledge it. You know, you can't just pretend that. You know, you can't just put yourself in your 15-year-old self's mind. You know, you can't just pretend that you're 15 years old anymore. You know, you can't just pretend you're 18 years old, 25 years old anymore. You're not. You know, it's a different part of your life. It's a different stage. Things change, and that's what it made me realise today, and the other day when I was in that swimming pool. You know, that's what it dawned on me that so many things have gone. You know, I've changed so much, and maybe in some ways not for the better. Maybe in some ways for the better. I don't know. That life has gone on. You know, that and the fact that, you know, look at seeing those lasses in the boat, like, you know, what they will be my age before they know it. You know, that boy, you know, my wife's family's son, you know, he will be my age one day. And it's just kind of, it's a weird thing to think about. It's a weird thing to acknowledge, you know, the circle of life and you know, the things that you've lost along the way, the things that you've gained along the way in exchange for losing things. Now, I can really go to some very dark places in my mind sometimes, and I don't set out to. It's just that sometimes I just it's easy for reminiscing to turn very quickly into bitterness, resentment, and jealousy. Very, very easily, very quickly. That's, I think, probably the key of this whole thing, is that it's just very, it's just one of those cliche things. It's bittersweet, isn't it? That's what reminiscing is. It is bittersweet because it's nice to have the memories in a way, but it's also kind of it kind of holds you back really as well, because you can get stuck in these loops of thinking about the past, and it just brings you pain and misery. And I genuinely mean when I use those words, it really can. It can really damage you. Actually, it can really fuck you up big time. when you start getting to that point where you're just like, oh, I fucking hate myself, I hate my life, I hate this time, I hate how things have changed, take me back. And don't get me wrong, I would happily go back to being a teenager or young adult again, absolutely. I'd do it right now if I could. It's not to say that I don't appreciate being my age and I don't appreciate life. I do, but I'm happy to be alive in many ways, and I'm grateful that I've been able to wake up every day for the last 34 years. And I know that someday that will stop. And I know that I have to make whatever's left of my life the best I can possibly make it. I can't go back, I know that. I can't retrieve things from the past as much as I might want to. So you have to find ways of, rekindling that part of your younger self in new things. That's the only thing I can say, about if I was to give any kind of advice is to try and find new hobbies, new activities that give you that kind of that kind of bring you back to a kind of, bring your 15-year-old self back to life in some kind of weird way, I guess. Your 18-year-old self, your 23-year-old self back to life, mentally speaking. Because I think that, whatever period of life, whatever age you felt the happiest, and for whatever reasons those were, I think that's what you have to, a part of finding some kind of justification to allow yourself to have joy in life again, is to find that. I don't know what that is for you. I sometimes don't know what it is for me. But I know that I can't continue living in many ways the life that I am, because it's not bringing me, it's not really the life I want, it's not fulfilling, it's not satisfying me in many, many ways, and it's making me more, I think, as each year passes by, I'm getting more and more miserable in myself. Not so much with life, but just with myself, regrets are starting to creep in, and I'm realising that the time's going by now. I haven't got a lot of time left to just keep fucking up and making excuses, and I've got to make some kind of a choice about my life, the direction of my life. But what it is to be young, man, seriously, what it is, it's such a, what do they say? Youth is wasted on the young. It's fucking true, man. There's no truer shit than that. I didn't realise I was going to one day be out my childhood, be out my teenage years, be out my young adult years. I had no idea. When you look back at things sometimes, God damn it, it really does get to you sometimes. It really does. It's like a tapeworm or something, It's like a termite infestation or something, It's like some tick or something. I don't know. It's like fleas. It's like a rodent infestation or something. It just slowly but surely, it's like a cancer. It just sort of creeps away. It just slowly starts to nibble away at you bit by bit, day in after day, day in, day out, day after day after day. And I know I stumble on my words, by the way, in these videos sometimes, and I don't always use the right word or terminology, and I'm sorry, because I don't write anything down. I'm just doing this off the top of my head, in the sense that I I'm not planning anything. I just go live, or I just make a video and that's it really. I don't do any editing on my videos, as I've mentioned before. I just like it because I like to just be honest and real and raw, and that's it. That's what my channel is really, in terms of these serious topic kind of videos, or just stuff that I just, it's just sometimes certain things can happen in a day, and I don't always, I listen back to some videos that I've done. I didn't quite get everything out that I wanted to get out. Can't get my points across as fully as I should, or didn't quite express a certain emotion as best as I could have done. And but I try anyway. But you haven't got time to waste, If I'd have known, if I knew at 16 what I know now, again, one of the things everyone says, isn't it? I would have done so many things differently. I really would have done. I would have taken my studies much more seriously. I would have stayed in college. I would have probably got some kind of I probably would have tried to go to uni, or maybe take on some kind of apprenticeship or something a lot early on. I wouldn't have wasted so much time. I wouldn't have wasted my precious years on women that didn't deserve it. It's just, you don't want to live in a state of regret all the time. It's not a very nice life, man. It's not very nice to feel guilty with yourself, to feel like you've let yourself down, you've disappointed yourself, you haven't maybe lived up to your potential, you haven't lived up to, you could have done more with your life. And it's just so easy to just get lost. So easy to just lose yourself in this world for various ways, and to one day just find yourself, kind of more or less past your best, and just kind of staring down the barrel of mortality and thinking to yourself, well, I guess I fucked up here, and I guess that's it. That's it. My life's finished with. It's not true, but you just have these moments where you just think, how much longer have I got left? How long have I got left to change things around, if I can? And who's going to give me any opportunities from here on out? Because if you haven't got money, and you don't know the right people, you're relying upon other people. That's just the bottom line of it. And as you get older, your opportunities dwindle because they see you as, you're older, you're wiser, you're more mature, you've got more shit figured out. You could potentially be more problematic for employers and companies, and they're not going to get as long out of you as someone that's say 18, 19, just coming in to their company, industry, job, career, whatever. So it gets harder, and I guess that's the kind of, it's getting harder as I'm getting older. This adulting thing is becoming, it's a curse really. It's a blessing in some ways and a curse in others. It's great to have reached the point where I can call myself an adult, and I have been for 17 years now. But on the other end, it's also kind of been honestly, kind of a massive burden to me. I don't want to be an adult, to be honest. I never wanted to be an adult, I suppose. I wasn't ready for it. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing really. I don't know what I'm doing as an adult. I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to turn, I don't know what to do next. All I know is that I fucked up big time over the years with various really crap just endless, just bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and I've just ended up in a situation where I'm just looking in the mirror and just thinking, come on, Darren, what the fuck have you done? What have you done to yourself? Look at the state of you. Just physically for starters, and just metaphorically speaking, it's just like, look at the state of you. Life's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Just everything about it is a fuck up. Your choice in women, your choice in friends, your inability to save money, your inability to sustain employment for long enough. It's just an absolute mess. And that's why my confidence has eroded away. That's why my self-esteem is probably at the lowest it's ever been. And I just don't know what the hell to do. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the hell to do with myself. I know that, clearly the things... I just want to be young again, I think. I just want to be young again. That's what this is really about. This is what I suppose this video is really. It's like being in those two places I spoke about, mentioned a million times over in this video now, and I'm going to bring it to an end in a second. It just made me realise, I'd love to be young again. You don't realise how precious it is. It's like someone giving you the golden ticket, it's like someone giving you some precious gem, and you don't realise what you've got until it's disappeared, it's gone, and you're never getting it back. And even if you do appreciate it, you're still going to get to a point where it just disappears and that's it. It's gone forever. And that fucking hurts sometimes. That acceptance. That is a real deep sense of like, it's beyond pain, it's beyond emotion, it's this utter gut, like just this darkness within yourself. It's hard to describe it. This hollowing out of yourself, this emptiness you feel inside, It fucking sucks. Big time. Don't waste your time away, man. Do not waste your youth away. Because I'm telling you now, you'll regret it later on. Don't waste your life away, man. You only get one shot at this, You only get to go around this one time. Your youth is so important. And it's so important that you get it right. You make the right choices early on. Because not only are you a long time dead, you're a long time regretting that shit when you get it very, very badly wrong.